Hi guys, my name is Danielle Barnard Groves, aka Noon at Noon, and I've decided to start this YouTube channel to show people how easy it is to actually become more plant-based, because I've recently turned my diet habits around during this lockdown period, and I've completely focused all my nutrition on being plant-based. So today we're going to make a quick, easy miso soup that will only take roughly about 30 minutes. So let's get going. So first and foremost, I'm going to take some sugar snaps and I'm going to char it quickly because it just looks really nice, once you serve it and it's a little bit charred. And just make sure that they are dried off, and obviously rinse your food before you use it as a rule of thumb. And then get this pan going, and then also we're going to need water for the actual soup. Get your kettle on and then just plonk these in there, and if they don't have to be bone dry, the heat of the pan will dry them, and then don't have to be too anal about it. It won't burn so quickly, so just keep a light eye on it and stir it. You will hear it pop. And then also what I'm going to do is I'm going to put corn on the cob, on the hob, make it hop like that, and just let it char. There you can hear the nice sound of our sweet peas or sugar snaps being charred. And then just keep an eye on your corn on the cob. Once again, it won't burn. The whole idea is to get it nice and charred, and just turn it and you will hear it pop. And then we can get going with the chopping of our mushrooms. Because we're going to fry mushrooms off, and that's going to be a major ingredient within this miso soup. I just like to use mushrooms because it's quite substantial and meaty. And then whilst I chop, just keep an eye on what's going on behind you. Give that a turn. In case you were wondering, this is going to be lunch for two and not just me. Chop, chop, chop. And then for my miso soup, I like to have them only quartered and not too finely chopped. Let's just stir here a little bit. And it's starting to get some color. Let's turn this bad boy around. Yep. And then in the meantime, we can get the oil going. And what I'm using is sesame oil because it's just got an added nice flavor. Because it does tend to seep into the mushrooms when you fry them, what sort of oil you use. So sometimes I use coconut oil, but on this occasion I'm going to settle for sesame seed oil. And then just let the pan heat. Back to these ones. And then also I don't want to overdo the sugar snaps because I like the vibrant green. Because sometimes if you overcook greens, they tend to get this dark green color, which is really unappealing to me, which is also a sign that it's been overcooked. So I would almost say, oh, that's a little bit too much. Get a bowl. Put that in there. It's a little bit dry, so let's add a little bit more. Chopping these last few mushrooms up. Let's just keep an eye on this corn on the cob. You don't really want to ruin it, go through all the effort, and then it's unedible. You can also put in a little bit of salt. I usually always go with onion salt. That's my go-to. Just gives a really nice flavor. And a little bit of regular salt. And then just stir it through. Okay, and then while you're at it, you can add a little bit of chopped garlic. I usually use the local garlic because I found that if I buy fresh garlic, it tends to go off and then I have to throw it away. And it's easy, no mess, no fuss. You're a bit too high, you turn it down a little bit. Keep an eye on that. And then just keep on stirring. When they stick to the pan. And let them sweat. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off now. Just leave it clean. Let it cool down. Chicken is boiling, wonderful. And then whilst that is still sweating a little bit, I'm gonna later. Get off all the dead bits. All of these have been washed beforehand. And then just chop them up. The whole thing. Easy does it. Add that add to your mushrooms. You can also see now the mushrooms have passed that awkward stage where it's too dry and all the moisture is now coming out of it. Just give that a good stirring. Wonderful. And then I'm going to peel the carrots. I usually like to put everything apart from the noodles when I cook it all into one pot, because I tend to lose the will to live if I have to use several pots to make a meal. And then think about how you want to chop it up. There's no wrong way of doing it. I like to chop it up in little slices, halve it, and add all of that now to your pot. I don't mind al dente carrots, but I just feel if they cooked a little bit, you know, just to take the edge off and are a little bit softer, they're a little bit more pleasant to eat. That's why I put them in now. Okay, and I think one carrot will be enough for this today. I'm going to leave the second one. Just give it a good stir. Okay, and now I usually like to pour in a little bit of soy sauce. Mirin. Because this is now also going to become the broth for the actual miso soup. Uh-oh. And then I always like to add a little bit of rice vinegar. I prefer rice vinegar because it's just very gentle and it's not as acidic and sharp as any other vinegar. Just a few tablespoons, and then go back to giving it a nice little stirring. It's coming on nicely. And then what we're going to do is take our runner beans. You can obviously use any vegetables you've got. There's no right or wrong, but I like quite a little bit of runner beans, just to give a little bit of diversity in my miso soup. And then I just cut off all the edges, the dry, nasty edges. Let's see. And it's boiling away. And then I usually like to half them as well. Okay, like so. And then put that in your pot. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of fresh ginger, and I just keep the skin on as it is. and give it a good old grating. I love this little grater because all the garlic ends up in the bottom, which is just what I want. And garlic is quite spicy and sharp, so you decide how much you like garlic, because it can become quite fiery. I have on occasions gone too much with it, and it almost felt like I was having a curry. And then I'll put a little bit of garlic paste in here just to zhuzh it up a little bit and make it more flavoursome. A little bit more soy sauce just to be able to mix it up, and then my miso paste. I usually take more than just 1 teaspoon, and then just mix that up. Take a little bit of the hot water. Just to make a nice little paste with the miso paste. Mix everything together. It's smelling delicious. Then I'm going to pour that in to my pot. And guess what? Add more water to it. And then I'm going to go over, and I normally use soba noodles, Japanese style wheat noodle. Just always be careful, it comes with a little ribbon around it. I have in the past thrown it into hot water with the ribbon on. That was quite disastrous. And then pour your water on there. Nice and easy. Just a little bit of oil just so that they don't stick, and get that going. Always try and cover them in the water, submerge them so that they don't start sticking to each other. And then just add a little bit of salt to your water to give it a little bit more personality, and stir your mixture through. And now I would advise you to go and just have a little sip or a taster of your broth and see if you need any salt. It's pretty good. Yeah, really nice. And as you can see, it's on a very low heat because I don't want to overcook my runner beans, because that would be, in my eyes, a disaster. And in the meantime, while all of that's happening, start plating up your bowls. And what I like to do is put my fresh spinach leaves on the bottom of the bowl, uncooked, because the spinach leaf will wilt quite naturally without too much effort. And that way you can feel good about yourself that you've got like fresh greens in your system now. So I'm just fishing them out here. And as you can see, there are a few pieces of coriander in this mixture as well, which just gives it more, makes it more flavoursome. And then let me just quickly clean this up and make room for the next And then to garnish, I usually like to add thinly sliced pieces of chili over it once you've served your broth. That will do, that's more than enough too. And then I've got some Mangetout that I'll add now to my broth as well. Because they cook so easily. And then just check, and we're nearly there almost. Stir it through, nice and easy. A pot of goodiness. Okay, and then don't forget about your corn on the cob. I usually actually like to carve that into a plate because otherwise it goes everywhere if you're not careful. I can smell it. It doesn't actually take much for a corn on the cob to get cooked, and this is perfectly edible, just a light char the way I've done it. Okay, and then what else can we do for preparation? And I've got some washed and cleaned coriander there that I'm gonna top it with, and then let's just check on the noodles. The noodles don't take that long, but you know, each to their own. Some people like it a little bit more al dente than others. Me personally, I like it nice and soft. I will give it a few more minutes. Not long, we're nearly there. This is absolute our staple in my household. It's so easy to make, especially after work. There's not really much to it. I'm just going to turn the heat down a little bit. Maybe turn the pasta up a little bit, the noodles. Get some fire. And then, actually, while we wait, we can take some sushi nori and just cut that up to also go into your bowl. It just gives a nice sea flavor to it, and it is vegan friendly. A lot of vegans use it. So what I normally do is I take a whole leaf, and then it's got naturally like little markers on it, and I just cut it through like so. You don't need a ruler really. This is all going to add to the taste, and then just cut little slices like that with your food preparation scissors. Wonderful. Some people like it, others hate it. It's like Marmite. See if you like it, but I just think it adds a little bit of flavor to your dish. So let me see. I think these noodles are spot on. And then I'm quickly going to drain the water. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my plates over here, and then let's see what's the easiest. I used to have a little tong that I can't see now. They don't have to be drained because they're literally going from the water into your bowl. And guess what? You're going to add more water to it. So just subdivide it really nicely like that. And then get a ladle and start dishing up some of your substance into the bowl. Oh, look at that. Look at all the colors. You know, wonderful, hearty and beautiful it is. I think personally, I know you can buy as a takeaway miso soup, but how wonderful it is to be able to make your own and put everything you like into it. And as much as you like it. You can have as much mushrooms as you like, instead of the 3 that they would put in your little bowl in a restaurant or takeaway. And then what I normally do is I just take the pot and pour the soup in. And then if there's some left over, usually I can make a little bit more noodles and have it with the leftover for the next day, or maybe later for a munchie. And then top your dish with your munch too. Wonderful. And then in goes the corn. And I'm not the type who think less is more. Some people stick to 3 or 4 ingredients. If I've got vegetables in my fridge, I will just absolutely try and utilize each and every ingredient within my dish. Just go for it. Wonderful. And then obviously when you eat it, you can start stirring the nori, the seaweed through. And then let's put some chili on this, just to make it look a little bit decent and like we know what we're talking about. And I always top it off with a little bit of chopped coriander, because I do actually love the flavor of coriander, fresh chopped coriander with everything I do. And voila, that's it. Look how beautiful, wonderful and easy this was. And it's all 100% animal-free, plant-based and so nutritious and delicious. Enjoy everybody. See you next time.